Hello. Well, welcome back to the channel. This is the introduction to my Kiss Valentine special. Keep it simple, stupid. So here we go. Enjoy. This is filmed on the motorway, the freeway, highway, if you're in the States. There was no real script or anything for this. I just started talking. So we'll see how we go. Enjoy. Welcome back to the channel. We've got a love-inspired episode this week. For those of you who haven't been here before, welcome. This is 40-something, where we talk about when you're around 40, maybe 30, maybe late 40s, maybe even early 50s. We talk about stuff that you maybe have not quite worked out, or maybe you have worked out, and you're trying to help some other people, and that's why we're here. So, being Valentine's week, and it's a very dreary, wet and grey week in the UK. The only thing we have to look forward to is Valentine's Day. Well, I don't, but here we are. So I thought I would use, if any of you heard the phrase KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So, what does that mean? Keep life simple. Let's have some words of wisdom for the channel, for you guys. Nostalgia. What does that mean? Reflecting. Times less complicated? I don't know. In the early 90s perhaps, even early 2000s. Life was just simpler, right? So, although life will never be that simple again, we can definitely make our lives simpler. We can make our lives more straightforward by, I don't know, maybe not doom scrolling. Why are we doom scrolling in the first place? Which could probably be an episode in itself. Doing the simple things so that we can make things a lot easier. Although we've never been more connected than we have ever before, as I say, going back to social media, taking the time to disconnect, whether that just be 5, 10 minutes, a few minutes, just to be present and really make the most of time that you have, because let's face it, we aren't getting we're getting more busier, should I say. So yeah, I am recording this. I'm in the car, if you hadn't noticed. Well, you have now. I'm making the most of the time that I have while I have a couple of hours sat in the car pondering about life, and it being Valentine's week, I thought this would be apt. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Okay, so keeping things simple, the value of experience. Although all of our information is out there, I think it's probably overwhelming for younger people these days to actually do something, maybe be paralysed by the amount of options that they have. And actually, they're making a decision. So actually, experience, what do we already know? We don't need to go to the internet to try and find the answers. We already know. And I've definitely been through a phase where I thought I didn't know anything. I thought I wasn't an expert in anything. I kind of feel like that now. But when you start putting things, all these different experiences you've had, put them all together over a number of years, all these tiny experiences, whether they be a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, they then build up into weeks, months, years, and even decades. I'm now into a second career where I've started pretty much from scratch in 2018. So that's been, we're into my 7th year now, and that is just absolutely flown by. So using your experience and not underestimating the value of that experience. And I think this is a great one. Self-care. Now, this is something self-care has been the bottom of the list. 100%. Everybody else came first. And then once you have a family, your family comes first, and then your career, if you want to build that ladder, that comes first. You stop playing football or playing sports. I stopped doing it. I stopped playing cricket for 20 years. I've now taken up cricket again, which is amazing. I'm more deliberate now about things that I do with self-care. Time for myself. I have my son, a really amazing amount of time. So when I don't have him, I don't put pressure on myself to do things that was probably usually expected of me before. So I'm now taking time to sit and watch a movie if that's what I want to do, especially on an evening. I'm quite happy to watch a movie on an evening. But more importantly, after years and years and years of lacking in self-care, I would say, I can only say from a men's point of view, that this is built up, and actually physical self-care, I would say, is the first start to make you feel better, and then internally starting to realise why you do things, why you react like that, why you drink to try and numb the pain, or drugs, alcohol, all those sorts of things. So actually self-care from the inside out is so important. And it's not an easy journey. It's really awkward. It feels weird just to lie there and listen to some music and be alone with your thoughts. But my piece of advice would be, and is where I started, would be listen to relaxing music. And then from there, I started to do some breath work, again, which still feels strange to say. And my next step, and this is probably at least 2, 3, 4 years down the line, I will start deliberate meditation, which I find it very difficult to try and take my mind into somewhere that it's never been before or doesn't want to go. So trying to get into that headspace is quite difficult for me, but it's, as I said before, it's those small steps that add up. Those minutes, those hours, those days will then add up to, I've been doing this for months and years now, and it's just second nature to look after yourself. So that's second part. And then the third part, saying no, and that is profound for me. Saying no when you want to make sure the family's okay, when you want to make sure your other half's okay, when you want to get that promotion at work. Why do you think your life will be easier if you say yes to everything? Yes, you do. And then yes becomes the default answer. You know, saying no is not saying you don't want to do something. It's saying that no could mean, no, I don't want to do that right now, which I'm learning to do and say. So if I say to someone, not right now, but can we talk about it? And then this is a bigger picture ticket item, which would be communication, but let's not go into that now. That is literally a whole subject in itself. And my final point, which I not a huge fan of, but let's discuss it. Minimalism. Now, I don't think living a minimalist life is what this is all about. I think this is minimalizing the amount of clutter, whether that be in your brain, by making lists to take things out of your head. So mental clutter, but also physical clutter, you know. The biggest thing I'm learning is, as a man, I like to have things. So I have computers, I have bits, I have wires, I have things for sports, I have all these different parts and bits. Now, I never want to get rid of them because you never know when you might need them, and that is so true. That honestly is true, and I think that's definitely a generational thing. My granddad, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago just after COVID, he used to keep everything. But if you haven't got your own space, your man cave or any sort of thing like that, I would suggest organising things. Have a plastic box on it that literally says cables. When you have a cable, you throw it in there, because it can become too overwhelming where to put something when you've got half a second to sort it out. So you either throw it in a drawer or you just don't sort it out. So living minimalism I'd say it's a bit extreme. If you go on YouTube and YouTube minimalism, there's actually like a downturn in minimalism, because I think it's just really difficult. There's a guy that I saw, I think he only had 130 items. That's all he had in his whole life. So that was really interesting. So the second part of minimalism, I think, as well, is focusing on not actually having things, but having and doing experiences. I would definitely say over my lifetime that I find people who have nothing or barely anything the most interesting people, because they tend to have done things, been places, spoken to people, and this is the realization that things don't make you happy. You buy a top, you get the buzz of buying the top. It's cost you a bit of money, that's fine, but you like it, right? But then when that buzz is worn off, I mean, you've worn it a few times, and then, well, that's it. You're looking for the next one. Top, that is, or buzz, or both. Whereas what I do now is, if I would like something, I tend to go to the charity shop or thrift shop if you're over in the US, and it's a pronged attack, three-pronged attack, I would say. It might be four, we'll soon find out. One is you don't know what you're going to get, as Forrest Gump would say. So you go in there, you have a look through, and you see a nice shirt. Hopefully it fits. That's the big one. If you see something you like. So what I tend to do is only look for things in my size, because if I find something that I like and it's not in my size, I get sad. Not in a bad way. So you're having a little rummage around. I tend to take my son with me, and he looks for books, second-hand books that'll cost like $1 or so, or £1. We're looking for Harry Potter books at the moment. And he found a first edition Harry Potter book for £3, about $5. We googled it, and it could be worth anything from, I don't know, anything from $100 to $2,000, but I don't think it's in absolutely perfect condition, which is fine. But we had a great time. I think he spent $10, sort of £10-ish, and he had an absolutely fantastic time. So not only you're giving to a good cause, you're spending time. So I spend time with my son, which I absolutely love. Also, if I don't want something anymore, I just give it back, so they can then make money from that again. So, and then also I get to speak to some really nice and interesting people, and I absolutely love that. And for me, it goes back to that thing of, I love speaking to different people who've done different things. It's not about what you've got. I'm not interested if someone comes up to me and says they've got a Ferrari. I don't really care. Although I am, to a degree, depending what type of person they are. How did you fund that? What have you done? Oh, I set up my own business. Oh, how did that come about? That's interesting. Not, look at me, I've got a Ferrari. So yeah, that's my take on the minimalist thing. Please comment below thoughts on anything else with the KISS methodology. Keep it simple, stupid. Have a great Valentine's. See you soon.